Day 37 found us heading north on our way to Grants Pass, Oregon. Once in Grants Pass, we would take a day off the bike to recuperate and wash a few clothes.
I was actually looking forward to a day off the bike because after 4 days of riding and many, many miles in some pretty hot weather, I was ready to relax. Mostly, I was looking forward to finding a Starbucks for what were we getting? Cafe mochas.
Yes.
And then there was
Your
that
addiction.
Yeah, and then there was that foot rub you had promised me too.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that.
Oh yeah, you did.
Now, on the way to Grants Pass, we traveled through some amazing country, but the highlight was stopping at Jedediah Smith State Park, where my family used to vacation when I was younger. Well, actually a lot younger. I was maybe 10 or 11 the last time I was up that way. So we're on our way to Grants Pass, and we're on 199 now, and we are going through the Jedediah Smith State Park up here, Redwoods State Park. And I just had to come in, and luckily the rangers were kind enough to let me drive through, as my parents used to bring us up here camping back when I was a kid. So I remember my parents, my brother, sister, aunt, uncle, and cousins used to also come up here and just have a great time camping. And somewhere back there there's a swimming hole that we used to go to, but I probably won't be able to get back to that today. But it's really cool to be back here. Brings back a lot of old memories. And I have a memory of this place too. Campfire songs and nature talks here at the park. So this is pretty cool. So we actually did get to find the river and the beach down here, although it's been 50 years since I've been here, so I'm sure things have changed a lot since then. Since returning home, my family has lost a couple of members, both of which are shown here in these pictures from 1968 and 1969. After arriving in Grants Pass, along with giving Kathy her foot rub, well, I actually don't remember doing that, but anyway, we were able to meet with one of my YouTube subscribers, and it's always great to spend time talking about motorcycles and travel. For day 39, we left Grants Pass heading towards Prineville, Oregon. On the way, we plan to stop at one of the national parks I have always wanted to visit, and that is Crater Lake National Park. Again, way back when I was younger, my grandparents took an RV trip up to Crater Lake, and I remember watching the slideshow they made when they returned. Man, technology really has come a long way since then. Now we just post everything to YouTube or Facebook. Crater Lake was beautiful and surprisingly cold for a day in mid-July. Kathy was thrilled to find snow still on the ground, but I guess what would you expect at 6,200 feet above sea level?
Crater Lake was amazing, and I knew that you wanted to go there for quite some time, Craig. And I knew about it, but didn't know anybody who had ever been there, so I was really amazed. It was beautiful. The one thing about it that was a little bit freaky and uncomfortable for me is the thing I have with the heights. So when you were like over on the edge, like looking out at some of these places, I was like, oh, because I just felt like you were going to dive right over that edge and I was going to have to ride the bike home all by myself.
After leaving Crater Lake, we finished the day off in Prineville, Oregon. Some folks told us that there was a lot of drug use in Prineville and we should be, well, afraid to go there. But actually we found it to be a nice little town with one of the nicer Best Westerns we found on this trip.
Oh, yes, and that's when we found a Starbucks as well. And I don't want your listeners to think that I'm some coffee hound or something, because actually I don't even really like coffee. It's a decaf, it's a latte, there's mocha in it.
A lot of mocha.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like a treat at the end of the day, kind of a little thing. So yeah, that was...
But now, somebody has to go get her one every morning from Dunkin' Donuts.
No, that's not true.
Oh, yes, it is.
On day 40, we left Prineville and we were making our way over to Ontario, Oregon, which is right on the Oregon and Idaho border. This day would be one of our longer ones that Kathy and I spent together at about 250 miles, but the scenery was beautiful and diverse. This was actually one of my favorite travel days of the trip because we were really not expecting to see such a variety of terrain.
I wish that more people could see some of the things that we saw that day. And it wasn't as if that was the best day of the trip with the best scenery, because it was all a best day with all wonderful things. But on that day, it just kept changing and it looked so different. It was so gorgeous. And man, what a beautiful country we live in.
Once we made it to Ontario, well, we were both pretty tired and opted for some afternoon naps.
But I wouldn't let you take a picture of me sleeping like you let me take a picture of you.
Of course not.
The last leg of our trip, day 41, before we reached Idaho 12, or the Lewis and Clark Highway, heading over Lolo Pass, was a stop in Grangeville, Idaho. Some folks told us there was not much there in Grangeville, but we found it to be another small and friendly town with a great Mexican restaurant.
And that was the place where you left your special hat at the Mexican restaurant, and the woman at the hotel rode over, picked it up, and mailed it to us.
That is true. She was awesome getting it back to us, and I have the hat on right now.